Oh, the drama! The air in London was practically buzzing with a tension so thick you could cut it with a knife, but not for the reasons Harry might have hoped. No, this wasn't the grand, triumphant return of the prince who had once stolen the hearts of millions. This was something much worse. This was the desperate, pathetic re-entry of a man who had burned all his bridges and was now scrambling for a little bit of the spotlight. And maybe a title too. Prince Harry, the once beloved royal, had come crawling back to the very institution he had spent the last few years publicly slamming. How the mighty have fallen! Let's not kid ourselves here. This homecoming was not the glorious return Harry envisioned. Gone were the crowds cheering, the cameras flashing, the adoring fans at every turn. Instead, there was just silence. No pomp, no circumstance. Just a desperate man hoping for some kind of redemption that, honestly, seemed long overdue. Harry had long since ditched his royal duties, and after a tell-all memoir that read more like a revenge novel than a heartfelt confession, it seemed pretty clear that any chance of reconciliation with his family was slipping away faster than a royal tiara at a garden party. Now Harry was back at Buckingham Palace, and what did he find waiting for him? A king, his father, who was having none of it. King Charles III, completely unsurprised by Harry's sudden reappearance, was about as welcoming as a cold London fog. Harry walked in, weighed down by his past actions, hoping for a glimmer of hope, but instead he was met with icy indifference. If Harry thought he could just stroll back into the royal fold, all sorry and please give me my title back, he was sorely mistaken. But hey, nice try, right? Harry's plea for a return to the royal fold wasn't just about wanting his title back. It was a cry for validation, a desperate attempt to prove that the path he chose, moving to America, building his brand, making a Netflix series, wasn't all in vain. Well, surprise, surprise, Harry. The royal family isn't exactly thrilled with the brand you've built, one that's more about drama than duty. And don't even get me started on that Netflix series that did absolutely nothing but stir up more controversy than a royal wedding in the tabloids. His request, more like a reminder of everything he abandoned for a lifestyle that, apparently, isn't as glamorous as it seemed. As Harry made his way to the palace, did he really think that his past actions, like trashing the monarchy in a best-selling memoir and turning family drama into a Netflix spectacle, wouldn't come back to haunt him? Did he genuinely believe his father, King Charles, would open his arms and say, "Welcome back, Harry. Come on in, have a cup of tea and let's work things out"? Oh, please. Harry was about to get a reality check, and it wasn't pretty. The meeting between father and son wasn't the tearful reunion you might expect. Nope, instead it was all business, and not the kind of business Harry was hoping for. Charles made it perfectly clear. You made your choice, Harry, and now you get to live with the consequences. His words were sharp and unyielding. "Traitors don't need titles," Charles said, a cutting remark that must have stung harder than any paparazzi photo. But let's be real here. Harry didn't want a real conversation with his father. He wanted to undo his choices, to go back to the royal life he so eagerly tossed aside. Sorry, Harry, the monarchy doesn't work like that. There are no do-overs when you've sold out your family and your duty for fame and fortune. And Harry's defense that he left to protect his family just didn't fly. Charles saw it for what it was. An excuse, a justification for abandoning his role in the family. When the meeting ended, Harry walked out defeated. He didn't walk out with a renewed sense of purpose or a "let's work this out" attitude. No, he walked out a man who realized he had been foolish, who came face to face with the fact that his choices had left him with nowhere to go. It was clear by the time he left the palace that any hope of redemption was slipping through his fingers like sand. The silence after Harry's departure spoke volumes. He sought forgiveness, but all he got was rejection. It wasn't just a loss of a title, it was the loss of an identity, of a place he no longer belonged. Then, let's talk about the real punchline: Harry's arrival at Heathrow. Not exactly the royal welcome he had in mind. Where were the cheering crowds, the media frenzy, the grand motorcades? Nowhere to be seen. His return to London was as low-key as it gets. No one was interested in welcoming back the prince-turned-Hollywood wannabe. The car ride to Buckingham Palace, it must have felt like an eternity for Harry, as doubt gnawed at him. Had he made a mistake? Was this all worth it? Well, based on the cold reception at the palace, the answer was pretty clear. It wasn't just the weather in London that felt chilly, it was the cold reality of Harry's life post-monarchy. Charles's delayed response to Harry's meeting request. That was a power play, a message that Harry wasn't welcome to come and go as he pleased anymore. The days of Harry getting special treatment were long gone. The finality of Charles's rejection was, honestly, a long time coming. This wasn't a man desperately seeking redemption. This was a man who was finally being held accountable for his choices. No more excuses, no more "I left for my family's protection" rhetoric. Harry had, in many ways, turned his back on his legacy, and now he was reaping the consequences. So Harry left that meeting alone, defeated, and more uncertain about his future than ever. His return to America, once envisioned as a freedom-filled escape, now seemed like an isolated, lonely journey. A journey into a future that didn't offer the same stability or sense of belonging he once had. The world Harry had chosen, Hollywood, media, fame, wasn't offering the comfort he thought it would. It was a cold, harsh reminder that his once proud royal life was a distant memory, and the title he wanted so badly. It's lost to him forever, and let's be honest, he's got no one to blame but himself.